Así, Joint Statement of the Cuban Resistance. The Assembly of the Cuban Resistance and the Cuban National Civic Resistance Front declare: 1. We celebrate the release of Alan Gross. We must also clarify, however, that the end to his kidnapping by the Castro regime constitutes the exchange of an innocent man for 3 criminals convicted of spying on the United States and for helping to commit acts of terrorism in which U.S. citizens lost their lives. This is by no means a humanitarian gesture by the Castro regime. 2. The Cuban resistance affirms that freedom, respect for human rights, and the establishment of democracy in Cuba is non-negotiable. 3. There will be no real changes in Cuba while the Castro brothers remain in power. Ending the kidnapping of Alan Gross did not necessitate concessions on the part of the Castro regime, nor the release of Castro spies in the United States. These spies are imprisoned for actively participating in the conspiracy to kill U.S. citizens: Carlos Costa, Armando Alejandre, Mario de la Peña, and Pablo Morales, a U.S. resident, namely the Brothers to the Rescue volunteers on the 24th of February, 1996. 4. We ratify that in spite of the concessions made by this administration to the Castro regime, we will persevere in our efforts to free Cuba, and that the Cuban people will inevitably prevail in their struggle for freedom. For Cuba's freedom, it is signed by the Assembly of the Cuban Resistance and the Cuban National Civic Resistance Front. You will be receiving information as to a meeting, a rally that we will have on Saturday with 3 main objectives. One is in remembrance and in honor of all our martyrs. The second is in rejection of concessions made by the administration of President Barack Obama to the Castro dictatorial and totalitarian regime. And third, in support of the Cuban resistance, both in the island and in our exile, and our aspirations for a free, democratic Cuba. So you will be receiving the information within the next hours, and this will be this Saturday.